an art form that's making a comeback.
It's an illusion, you know, that happens in front of people's eyes, that there's no explanation for.
Amaze an audience. It can bring an audience to tears, shock, baffle.
The reactions that people get give you a kind of thrill that nothing else really matches. It's fantastic, you know, you just have people staring in amazement. Nothing else matches that.
It's just the science of wonder. It's just what can you do in order to confuse, baffle, amaze, just, you know, mess with someone's mind.
Magic is the defiance of all the natural laws that bind us on the planet. It's a fable. Magic is a fable. It does not really exist.
I got into magic about 12 years ago now, after seeing magic on the TV with David Blaine. I liked what I saw, I was intrigued by it, so decided to learn a couple of card tricks.
For me, it all started when I was 14. I went to London, a family trip, went into Hamleys, saw a magician performing there, and just absolutely loved what he'd done.
Been learning since I was quite young, so like 13 or 14, just from books and from other people, and just trying to pick up on as much as I can. Yeah.
I fell into it, I suppose, because I was bought magic lessons by my mum when I was 19, and it just grew from there. I didn't actually want to be a magician, it just happened.
Well, I've always had a little bit of an interest in it right from when I was very young, but I properly got into it when I was about 10. I was doing the Duke of Edinburgh award scheme, and I needed a skill.
It's just good fun. Magic's something that I can just take anywhere, like a pack of cards is like my cigarettes. I can get them out and fiddle them if I'm bored. It's a confidence boost as well. Having a pack of cards with you generally makes you a more interesting person in a room. If you're entering with a pack of cards, you're someone that can do things.
You know, for that sort of split second or a couple of minutes while I'm with them, it's they sort of forget about everything else that's happening in their lives, and they're enjoying the moment, they're laughing, joking, have a really good time. So it's really, really rewarding.
I like to fool people. I think it's something I've thought about a lot over the years, because I think as magicians we are by our very nature deceivers, and it's not that I like deceiving people, it's that I like to have that reaction.
You get to mix with people and kind of play with people in a way that you wouldn't get to do with any other thing. It's so universal, it's so easily understood, it's a fantastic icebreaker, and apart from a few people, almost everyone will be up for seeing a quick trick.
I like making people happy. I think if there's one thing that anybody can do in the world is to make people happy is a good thing.
Everybody likes it, you know, young, old, you know, whatever age group, whatever background. I mean, over the years I've performed for people that don't even speak English, you know, because it's visual, you know, it still goes down very, very well. People
that are completely clueless, people that haven't seen magic before, or people that are just completely open to it, that, you know, you're there to try and trick someone. Some people take it in a bad way, as if you're trying to get one up on them, which you are trying to do generally. But some people just take it really well and just enjoy the whole experience, and people that are open to it and are there just to, you know, have a laugh, and that's always the best people to do it to.
I've been up to tables when I've done gigs of people that look, you know, really sociable and really excited, and they just do not react to it. They want to know how it's done. They don't engage with it. Equally, I've been up to people like big, you know, a bunch of big burly blokes that look very serious, and I've had them screaming like little girls at the simplest of card tricks. So it really just depends.
I share really straightforward tricks, things that are generally already well known, but only for people that I think are really sort of fascinated by it.
I think, you know, you get a lot of methods from books, DVDs and that sort of thing, and people are happy to discuss those ideas. But when you come up with something that's completely your own, you do get kind of protective of it.
I love getting the dreams as opposed to buying the trick in a packet and doing that, which is never the good thing to do.
I don't share things just with people who are curious as to how it's done, because the fun of being amazed at a magic trick is not knowing how it's done. The fun of doing a magic trick is knowing how it's done. So if somebody wants to actually become a magician, I'm very happy to share stuff with them.
Stuff that I use in my routines generally, I don't share because, as I said, it's the mystery that is what makes it so powerful. The fact that you go home and you're thinking, how the hell has you just done that? That's what stays in your mind and lingers and makes it a lasting effect rather than just, oh, all right, fair enough. It's quite easy.
It has a very, very competitive one-upmanship kind of culture to it. And it's very cliquey, so there are lots of groups of magicians that kind of consider themselves better than other magicians. There's a lot of kind of looking down on people.
I'm not keen on the whole street magic idea of it. For me, it's a bit too casual.
When you're sort of learning when you're young, and obviously you don't have a lot of money, it's quite an expensive hobby to have. Like, it costs a lot of money to sort of try and get involved, but with like advances in technology and people sort of sharing more, it's getting a bit easier.
I think for me, I think really the way that people learn magic now, I mean, we got into it before the internet was big and everything like that, so the way we learned was reading books and studying off of other people who had already been in the industry.
The one negative at the moment, or that's always been, is the use of camera trickery on TV. It obviously gives a false impression of what can actually be done in a live setting.
Some things about how magic's shown on TV I really like. I like the showmanship and I like the fact that there's a few shows now where anyone can sort of try and get involved and people that are sort of up and coming can get some exposure. There is some stuff on TV like Magic's Biggest Tricks, Reveal, that kind of thing, or the things where it's just like, let's just try and break it down. I don't like so much.
I will now show you how to saw a woman in half. Well, first of all, it's grammatically incorrect. You saw a woman in halves. And secondly, I know 15 or 16 different ways to do it. All he's doing is giving away the way he does it, not the way I do it. And that is pretty stupid, because where are you going to work?
It's been portrayed in virtually every way you can think of. It's been portrayed as genteel, it's been portrayed as a bit dark and mysterious. I mean, in ancient times it was a sin, it was synonymous with witchcraft. So it's gone through so many portrayals, it's ever changing.
I don't know. I like a bit more of a show and a bit more of a staged.
More of a performance.
Yeah, more of a performance.
It does frustrate me sometimes when there's a trick which I've really loved and is exposed to like the mass market and you didn't really want it to be.
It's a tool for them to discover the secret, to satisfy their curiosity. Whether that's a bad thing, I don't know. Some people would say it is. It spoils the trick. They will never be able to watch that trick again and be as amazed. On the other hand, if somebody is curious about magic and they look at the secrets online, that might be a window for them to get into the art.
If you have an interest in it, you will find the stuff and you will want it and get it and do it and learn it. And if you haven't, you won't. It's never been any different. I mean, the fact that it's in an internet setting as opposed to down the local library makes no difference. The rules still apply.
There's loads of new stuff happening, and as new general technologies develop, there's magic tricks to suit them and go along with them. So magic is going places, and everything that changes in the world, magic changes with. It's just stupid to think there's nothing new. When you look around and there's just crazy, weird stuff happening all over the place. I saw a dude tie his own shoelaces without touching them and just shaking his foot. It's crazy.
I'd agree to a certain extent. I mean, everything that's coming out now, there's been a version of before. And it's obviously repackaged, remarketed, and put a different presentation on it, which makes it modern.
People do say there's nothing new in magic, it's all twisted and reinvented. But that only applies if you take it down to its absolute essentials, in that matter cannot be created, says your physics teacher, and yet we produce objects or animals or human animals. Equally, matter cannot be destroyed. Well, yes, it can. Poof, she's gone. And then solid matter cannot travel across time and space instantly. Then it's all dressing to make any one of those things happen, but there are new ways being invented all the time of making those things happen.
I know where the argument comes from with that there's nothing new in magic. Up until sort of the 1950s, there had been a lot of material put out in books and magazines and articles that everything sort of after that, there's an argument to say it's just a reinvention of things that have already been out there.
There's a phrase I hear often where someone says it's so old, it's now new.
Yes.
I often hear that it's so old that it's died and people have forgotten it, and now it's back and it's new and everybody's excited about it. So
I think I mean everything is going to be based on something else. You know, magic's been around for so long now that in order for it to be new, something new has to be invented for the magic to be based on. I think knowing how a trick is done is 10% of it. 90% is the performance.
Now that's